honor to see so many faces. I know you guys are probably eating lunch or something. You don't want to show me your food. That's why I don't get to see your pretty faces. But I am so grateful that you're spending your time with me here today. I'm Jenny Wolek from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been in real estate for 19 years, and I have a small team here in T-Town, middle of America. We've gotten to stay essential all these days, so we've stayed productive and connected to our each other as a small team, and then also with our community. We've already gotten to help 118 families buy and or that are under contract or closed so far this year, which is such an honor. And most of our business does come from our database, our local database. And then also another big chunk comes from agent to agent referrals, which really is another form of a database. And so that's really, I think, Kevin reached out about Facebook groups, and there's so many ways through social media to connect and deepen relationships. And so we'll talk through all of that. Again, I'm just so grateful that you're allowing me to do what I love. This is my passion and my purpose, to give back and share and empower real estate agents. So, when you get real clear on what matters most to you, then you know what you can say yes to. And so I can say yes to hanging out with you guys, because that is a part of my mission. So last year, as a real estate team, we helped 145 families. And ever since this has happened, many of you are on the morning shift pivot ahead call with me, well, of course, with James. Sorry, I'm just a observer and a participant at times. And you've stayed really connected with each other as real estate agents. If you're not on that call, it's really simple to hop on and get connected, get your morning dose of positive and a positive mindset and productivity. And so, talking with you guys today, I've got an hour, and I was like, I want to make sure that I don't just, go eat a pea and vomit all this stuff on you that's in my brain. So I thought I'd have a little more purpose. And I recently created a workshop. It's called Mirror My Business, and it's a 3-hour workshop. And so what I did was I took this presentation I already have, I just chunked it way down. And so today I'm going to just give you some high level thinking, and then we can pause and go really deep when we need to. Because I think I told you I've been in this business 19 years. That's a lot of failures. That's a lot of breakdowns. That's a lot of tears and wine. And it also has allowed me to learn and grow. And what I've learned over the years is that it all starts with our database. And even, when we talk about Facebook groups, that's just kind of a form of an extension of your local database. So I'll share my screen if that's good, and we'll just kind of work through this presentation that I have. The hard part is, there we go. Okay, I can see it. And if you guys have questions along the way, you're welcome to add them to the chat box. I may not see them for a bit, but we will pause. Anytime that I teach or share, I want to make sure that everyone realizes the value of our mindset. It all starts here, and if we don't have a good one, we're not going to last very long in this profession. This is an industry where we are paid in direct proportion to the service that we give and the showing up that we do and the attitude that we, pass on to the world and to our clients. And so, years ago, I think my mindset got pretty strong when I had been an agent, a reactive agent. I wasn't at Keller Williams yet. I just was winging it. I hadn't read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. So I had so many years of just floating through the business, not being a business person with any kind of purpose. And then in 2010, at the end of 2010, October, I took Bold for the first time. And that's when it was brand new. And it was this, back then, 8-week training class. And just, of course, it was so great to learn scripts and systems and tools for your business, right? That's a given. But what it really, really taught me was that I needed to always start with gratitude and affirmations and talking to myself in a positive way, so that therefore I could envision my life bigger than I'd ever thought it could be. And that's when I showed up as the person that you're seeing today. So it was really taking bold, removing my limiting beliefs that opened up my life and my business. So that was back in 2010. I was a single agent, solo agent at that time. I'd helped 23 families. And by just taking bold, that next year, my production doubled. I went up to 51 units by myself, then 61, then 71. Clearly, in that time, I was having lots of breakdowns and chaos in my world and in my business. And that's when I started building a team. And the building a team piece totally came about only out of necessity. I didn't set out to build a team and crush the faces off all the real estate agents here in town. My goal was just simply survival. I was a mom. I'm still a mom. I have a 13-year-old now, and back then she was little, and I was the primary, deliverer to her going to mommy's day out and all of the activities. And so I know that many of you have lived this life, and you know that if you don't know and have control over your mindset, you could just get totally eaten up in this business. You could work insane hours while still struggling to be a great parent and wife and real estate agent all at the same time. So this company, these courses, these trainings that you guys have at your disposal really are lifesavers and really can help keep you on track to having the most amazing life. So after that, I decided Bold was an all right class. So since then, I've taken it 18 times, and I'm continuing to learn and grow through that. So I do want to I know in the old days, all classes that Keller Williams ever taught started with the 6 personal perspectives. And when I thought about how could people mirror my business and who am I that they would, what do I have to offer? Well, nothing that I have to offer is original. Everything that I do, I've learned from a book, or I've learned it from a mentor or a coach, and I've modeled what other successful people have done. This is an amazing company and industry that we do not have to reinvent the wheel. We do not have to even be creative. Now, you can after you've laid the foundation. If you remember from The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, in one of Gary's first triangles at the beginning of the book, you can be creative. You just first have to have already set forth all of these models and have a great foundation before you throw in the fun. I think you want to throw in fun to everything you do, but you have to do it after you've set forth the foundation. So I remember Gary saying in one of my first Keller Williams events I attended, he said, you got to be careful what you think about, because it usually happens. And that stayed in my phone forever, because that was so powerful to me. This was the precursor of any bold and any thinking like that. What you think about usually happens, is what you focus on expands, and all of the bold laws that go along with that. So all 6 of these perspectives, you guys have seen them, and do you apply each of these into your everyday calendar? Every single bit of this could be a part of your day. You can start your morning with gratitude and working on yourself by listening to podcasts or books. You are going to time block your 20%, your lead generation, your follow-up. You're going to always think of ways to go from E to P. What could you do better? What system could you add? Are you getting training? Obviously, you're learning-based individuals because you're here hanging out with me today. And the limiting beliefs and accountability are so crucial as well. I've never not had a coach. I've never not had a coach since 2011. As soon as I had that instant success from Bold, I've never looked back. I have invested the $1,000 a month in my life. And if I look back on the money, I think that return has definitely shown up for sure. We're going to almost get to $1 million in GCI here this year, which will be the first that we have gotten there. And it's not about the money, and it's also about the growth, because when I first took Bold, I think I had made 40 grand that year, and I didn't run like a business. So therefore, I'm sure I didn't pocket any money. I'm sure that as soon as I made the money, it went right back out in expenses that were already accrued. So I just share this with you because it's so important that we start with this as our foundation, and we start with the foundation of knowing, who we are and what matters to us. Something I teach is Quantum Leap for young adults. And we don't have time to dive into this, but I would love for you to snap a picture of this first question, because I want you to come back to this and really think through, who am I? What do I care about? And how can this be applied to my business? So when we teach to young adults, a lesson on how to understand that what they care about, their mission, their purpose, when they go and work in industries or go to school in that field, they're going to be happy. They're going to be more successful because they care about it. Now, so many of us older folks never thought this way when we were younger. And so we might have failed our way into finding ourselves into who we are today. But how much time did we waste in those really important years, those 20s and early 30s, I did, of figuring out who we are? So where do you want to set forth emotion in the world? And then the second follow-up question is, what gives you energy and fuels you personally? So when you know what you care about at your core, if money does not matter, if a paycheck did not matter, what would you get up and do every day? Who would you give to? And what do you already love doing that it fires you up? Then in that case, you could put together a mission statement. And we like to say you're not married to this mission statement, you're just dating it. But right here is the formula. The mission for my life is the answer to number 1 by doing the answer to number 2. And so when you get real clear about this personally, I just feel we have to start with it personally, then you're able to do this for your business. So my mission statement is actually, it's evolved over the years. Whoops, that's not it. My site got updated recently, so we'll do this. Huh. See if that works. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, well, anyway, I'll share it with you guys later.
You missed an R.
Oh, did I not spell my name right? Let's start over. There, okay. All right, so here's my mission statement. I have this real estate agent blog. It's just for real estate agents. If you guys want to go subscribe to it, yourjourneywithjenny.com, and you'll find lots of videos and emails that I've made in the past that all are for you. It's just ideas and ways that we, add to our business and how we do different things. But anyway, here's my personal mission statement: to empower others through coaching and training, to inspire confidence and change through positive mindset and tools, which encourage big thinking and action taking. Now that's the 4th or 5th edit. So please don't get bogged down in the, oh my gosh, I've got to have a perfect mission statement today. Not going to happen. You just have to start playing with the ideas around it. But then we took that same exercise and we worked on it together as a team. So of course, from Keller Williams, all of our trainings, that you've heard of MVVBP. That's your mission, your vision, your beliefs. Wait, your MVB, beliefs. I can't even say them all. BP, your beliefs and your whatever, your values and your perspectives. There we go. I'm getting my B's and B's all confused. And so we did this exercise as a team, and this is one of what we came up with as our team mission statement. So it's really just right here at the top part. So whenever you so how we did this was we went to the companies that we truly respect, like Southwest Airlines, Disney World, Trader Joe's, etc. So Ritz-Carlton, who gives an amazing customer service that we want to be like? Who do we want to emulate when it comes to the service we give? And so what we came up with is we kind of pulled words and phrases out of others' mission statements to put it together for our own. So our mission is to deliver on our promise. And then below we have our promise. And that is to give a highest quality client experience with a sense of warmth and friendliness, because that's who we are. We have a learning-based culture that is dedicated to giving back to our clients and the community. And we commit to support our local business partners and empower our youth through education and personal growth. So if you really broke all that down, I can tell you that the part about warmth and friendliness, that actually came from Trader Joe's and Southwest Airlines. So you can borrow that for your mission as well. And then, we are learning based. If you remember, I've taken Bold 18 times. A non-learning based person wouldn't keep taking the same class over and over again. So clearly, those are the people that are in my world, are people who care about learning and growth as well. And we give back to the community, because years ago we added in as a part of our value proposition is that every closing that we have, we're going to make a donation to our client's favorite nonprofit. And really it's just $100. So it's not a lot out of each commission check, yet when you sell 100 homes a year, that really adds up. So that is a way that you can say and be a community giver and connector, is by giving to your client's favorite nonprofit. And then you can get strategic as well. And how we do that is with every event that we have nowadays, even virtual events, we still attach some form of giving. So we would say, like, for example, coming up, we're going to have a virtual bingo night with our database, and we're going to attach some form of giving back, school supplies or things, because that's what's happening in the community right now. People are going back to school. Whenever we have events around Thanksgiving, we give to the food bank, because that's a time and a reason people that may need some extra help around that time. So when I say we commit to support our local business partners, how we do that is we shoot videos with local businesses and nonprofits and restaurants. And I've just been doing them through Zoom, and I shoot a video and it's 3 to 5 minutes. And I say, tell everyone who you are, how you got into your business, and, how ways that we can help you right now, or how are you surviving these new days? And then how can people find you and help you out or learn more? And then lastly, the other part of our mission is to give back to our youth. And that comes from me and Brittany on my team. She's an agent. She and I are both Quantum Leap instructors for young adults. So if you have interest in giving back to our youth, then you should go to kwkc.org and learn more about being an instructor. And now these days we're doing our classes online. We have many virtual sessions that have been created in these last couple months so that we can still give back to our young people. And that's Gary Keller's nonprofit, by the way. And so those are the ways that we are living our mission every day. So I share all of this with you guys and taking lots of time on it, because it really doesn't matter. We could hop right into creating a Facebook group, but if you don't know who you are and your team's culture and what you believe in, then it's just going to be for naught. You just have to start your business foundation with who the heck are we and who do we want to show up as in this world. I know you're all great people, you all give great service, and you care about the community. Well, just put it in writing so that way you're able to share it with others. So when we go from there, where do we go from here? Well, then every year we're going to create a GPS. This is the tool that we use. Stands for 1 big goal, 3 priorities, and 7 strategies. And honestly, ours is a big old mess, because I love systems and I love tools. So at the beginning of this year, before COVID hit, we'd created a goal, and that was to help 185 families. And then I'll just give you a tip of a way to do this for yourself. Is each priority was leads, listings, and leverage. You guessed it. So that was a really good way to wrap our brain around how are we going to love on our people enough in all these different categories to get us to helping 185 families. So, even as we talk about it, we always start with our database. We have our rock stars. Those are our VIP people. We're going to generate business through referrals, through business partners, and through our community. So that's just one little piece of that. And I'll We probably don't have time to go into all of that, but I want to share with you guys that all of this starts with first thinking about it, and then you got to get into action. So the one thing that we know to be true, and you've heard it because you have taken bold and you've read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, that there's 4 laws of our database. You beat it, build it, you feed it, you communicate with it, and you service the leads that come your way. So I want to just hit home the point for you guys that when I got really purposeful about my database back in 2016, I had a mess of a database. Everybody thrown into the same pot, not pulled out or tagged correctly. And it was really quite exhausting because I would spend energy or money or time on people that I shouldn't have been focusing on. So it was actually James Shaw, a friend of mine, that got me up on stage at family reunion one year, and he did this exercise, and it was called, what's the value of your database? What's your database worth? And it's a painful exercise. It's very painful because basically he used the numbers from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent with your Met database. If you have this many Mets, you should have this much business. Well, obviously I had a huge gap and it was painful. So that got me really purposeful. So let's just do the numbers real quick for you guys. So how many people are in your database right now that you would say you call them a Met? Let's use this new number that we're kind of crunching numbers with these days of 10%. So if 10%, you should be able to expect 10% return of business from your Met database. So real quick, say okay, so let's say it's 1,000. Let's just look at this number right here. It's 1,000 people times 10, that's 100 families. How exciting is this? When you properly and systematically love on your database, you should expect that next year on January 1st, you can plan out your whole year because you at least know you're going to get 100 closings from your database. Now let's look back in time. Where have you been, and where is there a gap? Did you make 600 in GCI last year with 1,000 people? This is our average sales price. Yours might be higher. So that's how you know that you may need to reevaluate how you're loving on people. Now, you guys, I can only see a select few of your faces when I have my screen up. Have you heard of the Reverse Bold 100? Yes. Okay, so I see a yes and a no, so that it gives me an opportunity to kind of give you a little snapshot of the fun. So the amazing thing about the Reverse Bold 100 is it's a way, and actually I have a system. I have a Facebook group, by the way. It's called Your Journey with Jenny. And in my group, if you search it for Reverse Bold 100, you'll find this whole checklist and system. So you guys go download that and save it. So the idea, though, is that you'd have 100 people call into you in one day. Doesn't that sound fun? I mean, they're calling you. You're not outbound calling. They're calling to talk to you. So all you have to do first is just make sure you have a prize that would incentivize them to want to call in, and set a time, set a date, create a whole plan around it. And I share all these different ideas. Have a Facebook event. Have your, another way is we added in, this really helped the last time we did one, we gave away a medium-sized big green egg, and we had 111 people that called in. And so it really helped because this time we did do a slide dial. You guys have heard of slide dial or slide broadcast, where you pay to have voicemails dropped inside. So it looks like it's ringing on your phone. It goes straight to your voicemail. So we added in a slide dial call this time. Now, I get this question a lot. If you're a solo agent and you think, gosh, this is too overwhelming, I can't handle it, you really can just go ahead and change your voicemail that day to say, thanks for calling to register. Please leave your name and number so I can call you back, because that's the only way you're going to get entered into winning the contest. We always have a vendor help us out with any like, that big green egg. It cost our team $0. All 3 partners pitched in. So our P&L loved this virtual event, basically. You can be prepared to take calls. We do it. We receive them on a Google form so that way it just goes into a spreadsheet. And basically, you now are getting the opportunity to talk to all these people in your database. You've emailed it to all of your unmets as well, so you might be capturing new people into your world. And then you're sharing it on social media. You could pay for a Facebook ad if you want. You're putting it on all your sites, and you're capturing new people. Because the thing I learned a long time ago from the Red Book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, is that the goal is to grow your database. Remember, if you just take your Mets and your Mets gets bigger, that's more opportunity of families to help. So we want to have more of them. So how we have more of them is we add more people to our database. So that's just a fun idea and a fun way to grow your database. Another thing we've just recently implemented would be buyer and seller workshops. I'm not having a ton of success with this yet. I'll be really vulnerable and honest with you guys. The seller workshop was something we just decided to have on the calendar once a month. We're doing them through Zoom, and we're advertising it to our database, because could you imagine that people are curious about how to sell their home in this COVID era? So, you know, have it from 5:30 to 6:30 or whatever would be a great time, and allow people to come in, and you can just work through your seller presentation book. You know, one thing is key, and you can do all this lead generation, but if you don't follow up, then what's the point? And so we know the value of following up and just making sure we have systems for all this stuff. But I really want to get to the part that really matters. And I think that agent database is really important. When it comes to Facebook groups, I shared that I have a Facebook group. It's called Your Journey with Jenny. Well, back in 2016, I had been at family reunion, and people seemed to know me for some reason. And it was because by mistake, I had accidentally sent my local real estate video blog emails to my agent database as well. So I was mortified. If you're on that email list, please unsubscribe. I'm so embarrassed. But why it was so valuable is because I had been implementing and using video in my business for at least since 2014. And I was terrible. I mean, I'm still like a work in progress, but the thing about video is you just got to get over yourself, because that's really how you sound. That's really how you look. So just get over it. But anyway, I was at family reunion, and people are stopping me because they'd obviously seen my videos and they knew me. And I said, so I got back to town and I call up my viral marketing rep and I say, hey, you know how I do this 2 videos a month to our local database? Could I do that for real estate agents? Because I love sharing with real estate agents, and I want, you know, to get out videos and share with them all the things we do in our business. And they were like, yes, of course. So that's where Your Journey with Jenny was born. So now if you look back, and I shared that site with you guys, and there's a closed Facebook group as well, I've got 3,500 real estate agents inside of there. So that means that 3,500 of you think that something I have to share is valuable. So that's cool. You know, it's all opt-in. I didn't add anybody unless they asked to be added to the group. So that's when it comes to agent referrals. It's a hot topic. There's many ways to go about receiving agent referrals. And I think the number one thing about it is that you just have to have a plan, and you have to have a database, and you have to add value. So what are things you're really good at that you could share with other agents? Or maybe you're just great at being a good friend. So you build a database and you just have a system that every week you're going to talk to 5 different real estate agents. Or maybe whenever a real estate agent friend pops up on Facebook as a birthday, you call them instead of just send them right on their wall. Maybe you then add their birthday to your database, so they get a card from you in the mail, so they remember who you are. Everything just has to have a plan. Oops, I went too far. So when it comes to building a database with a plan, I mean, I have this list here of my whole system. So here's where I am. Here's what my goal is. Here's my mission. I'm going to give back, how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to add people to my database. I'm going to build it out. It's just exactly like the Millionaire Real Estate Agent lead generation model, except for it's for real estate agents. You're going to reward them and you're going to thank them. So 30% of our business last year came from agent to agent referrals. Let me just pause there and take a breather and see what kind of questions that you guys may have when it comes to what we've chatted on so far about agent referrals or mindset or mission. Anyone? Okay.
Well, I have a question. It's Barb Klaus. So when you realized that your database was a hot mess, I'm just kind of using my own kind of verbiage here. Yeah. Because I think a lot of us feel that way, right? And so I'm a little bit embarrassed by that. How did you get it to not be such a hot mess? How did you attack that big mountain that seems to be like so huge to have to go over?
Well, you're probably not going to like my answer because it requires a lot of work. And what I mean by that is so have you guys heard of or taken the perfect real estate? No. Never ending referrals. Or you've taken Bold and you have heard of the do the database too. It's just a system and it's a way to break up the alphabet instead of A and B, C and D. It just breaks up the alphabet. So what I did back then in 2016 was I followed the, I don't know, what is it? A and R, something, whatever. Somebody knows it.
A and W.
A and W. I was like, I know it's root beer. Why can't I think of it? Yes. So you start with A and W because what would happen is I would have this big idea. I'm going to go through my database and I'd get to maybe like D or E or something. And then I'd get busy and then I'd start over again. And so that I wasn't getting anywhere. Or then one time I had a brilliant idea. I'm going to start the other end of the alphabet. And then I'd just get a few in. I'd get busy. So by doing that, what I did was I just used that as my lead gen morning and I went through the alphabet and I personally, not me, not anybody else on the team, not an admin, I went through each person because no matter what, you know these people in some fashion or you don't, and that means you need to recategorize them. And so I called, if there was a phone number, left a message, sent a text, sent an email, and then properly tagged them. If it was somebody that I had met at an open house 5 years ago, I mean, you get to make that decision. I made sure though that I wasn't going to spend any money on those kind of people. So what that meant was that only people who deserved our money would be tagged as a Met. Does that make sense? So it's okay if there's some random web lead because all I have is an email address. I'm not wasting, postage on sending them stuff. So they can stay. They're just going to be tagged in the outer world, not on the inner world of a Met. So to me, the goal is we've got the general sphere of influence, then the Mets. So are they worthy of our money and our time? And then over the past couple years, we've gotten really purposeful about now out of the Mets, who has given us a referral. They're our raving fan. They're a cheerleader. And we call them rock stars. So these rock stars are our VIPs. So that like if right now I knew I needed to call people for care calls and it was really urgent, I'd start with them, right? Because they've already proven that they support our business. So I'm going to love on them first. And so once they got welcomed into our Rockstar group, then they get this whole new level of service from us. They get additional events. We have a closed Facebook group just for them. We have different giveaways and all that stuff. So that's kind of where I grow. So the hard answer is you got to just put it on your calendar. And even if it's an hour a day, I mean, you may find, honestly, guys, you might just be deleting people. I wouldn't say delete them if you just have an email. Just don't spend time or energy on them. Get it where if they're filtered, you don't worry about them or think about them. Does that help? I'm sorry.
Yeah, very helpful. Thank you.
It's just you got to do it because it's going to change your life. Because what I found was when James had me do that exercise, when I came back and we did it again the next year at family reunion, I had realized my database wasn't tagged correctly. So what I thought were my Mets was really a bigger number than what it should have been. Because when you get real clear on the people that know you, trust you, like you, our past clients, friends, family, maybe a, conversation of somebody that's thinking about buying or selling, but now is not the time yet, and you have them categorized correctly, then you can base your business on that number. So my goal for this year, like part of my 411 as the owner of this team, is to grow the Met database. Because if I grow the Met number, that means I get to grow the production. So my coach is already having me not just look at the Mets for this year. So I told you our goal is 185 families. That should be 1,850 people in our Met database. But now he's saying, okay, now go ahead and add to that so that we're planning for next year's production, right? So this is where your mind starts exploding, is because, oh yeah, there is next year and I plan on being in business because I don't have a plan B because this is all I got. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So how we came up with that number is looking at last year's production, the year before, what's been your growth trajectory every year. And so just taking, 185, and I believe ours is 30%. So if we take 185 units and we multiply it, that gets us to like 215 next year for production. So we're already thinking bigger to keep pushing forward. So that's why we do the call into wins, ways to capture new people into our database so that we can keep growing. Does that make sense?
So Jenny, Melanie asked the question, how long did it take you to develop that list that you were showing us?
To develop my list or clean up my database?
The list that you had?
It was the list based on, you said it was based on the MRE lead gen model, but it was for your database. You showed it to us.
The list you showed us?
Oh, like my GPS? Sorry, I'll just go back to what the list I showed you.
Yeah, right.
In my agent database?
That's it.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
Oh, how long did it take me? Well, it just came out of my brain. I mean, I don't know a timeline of how long it took me. I've been in real estate 19 years. So let's say it started with my history. I started knowing and understanding the value of agent to agent referrals. And that's where it all started. So then I would have a checklist and a system. I'd go off to a Keller Williams event and I knew that when I got back, I'd take all these business cards and I would write a handwritten note. Then they'd go into my database. Then they'd get added to our email list, etc. Is that what you guys are looking for? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is just how my brain is demented and crazy. So you're welcome. And this is exactly why I finally just created a class, because that's just all floating around here. And I finally kind of got it in one little condensed spot. Well, let me go into what it can look like when we get a little bit more creative when it comes to, getting reviews and creating your clients for life, because that's when we can, let me see, where's the share screen? It's my first Zoom today, so it's good. Okay. Oh, geez. There we go. All right, so you guys know the value of gathering reviews. We hear it all the time. And remember, I shared with you, it was our promise. Oh, it says it's paused. Now we're going to get it. Now it's good. Okay. All right, so we know the value of reviews. We know that, remember I shared with you at the beginning, we offer our promise to our clients. And so of course the goal is to get a referral, but could we add in also getting a review? So, when I'm calling after closing to our clients and I say, it was so amazing working with you and thank you for allowing us to do what we love. And, something we just have to know, we shared that it was our promise to give an amazing client experience. So how did we do on a scale of 1 to 10? And you're going to get some great feedback. Most of the time it's a 9 or a 10. And then I say, well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. When we hang up the phone, is it all right if I just shoot you over a link to our Google review and you can fill that out for us? And they say, oh, of course, of course. And they usually don't right away. You've got to have a system for following up and bugging them again and again so that they will then finally give you a review. But we just have found that when you focus on this and you have it a part of the team conversation, it's a part of the conversation with the clients, it doesn't have to feel weird or sound weird. If you just say, what we have found, and maybe you did this too, buyers and sellers are always starting online. We had such an amazing time working with you and your family, and it sounded like you had a great time too. Could you help us help more families like you? And that's all the conversation needs to sound like. It doesn't now need to sound weird or desperate to get a review. It just needs to sound like, hey, you had a great experience. Can you make sure that other families get the same great experience by helping us out? And that's what they will always do. You just have to follow up then, because I'm finding that when you ask right at closing, when you ask right after closing, they say yes, and then they're busy. They're packing or unpacking or whatever they've got going on in their world. So it really requires follow up and follow up and follow up in a gentle way. It could be a week later. Hey, how are you guys doing? You getting all settled? Oh, well, let me send you that link again. Follow up is really, truly key. Something that we really found is that so important is this clients for life. So clients means that this isn't the end for us. So I shared with you, I just had that closing after closing call. So at the after closing call, I'm asking for feedback. Did we deliver on our promise? I share with them our mission to give back to the community. So who is their favorite nonprofit that we can donate to on their behalf? And then lastly, I'm going to just remind them that this isn't the end for us. You need to make sure and still check your email when you see stuff from us. Make sure that you log in and sign up to and join our Facebook group for Rockstars, because we continue the fun from here and we look forward to staying in touch. So you have to tell them that this isn't it. You're not a transactional agent. You care about the relationship. You want to continue to be in touch with these people, because that's it, guys. I mean, that's what this business is about, repeat and referral business. So one way that we love to, share on and have fun with our clients I was teaching this class. It's called the 5S. It's called Customer Experience. It's a Keller Williams class. And as I was teaching the class, I did this exercise with my team, and this is something you guys can think through. When we deliver a great experience for our clients, we want to make sure that we set expectations from the beginning, that we serve them along the way, we give great service, that we survey them inside of the transaction. Are we checking in and making sure that we're doing what we said we would do? Because that's how you win with people, is communication. And then do you surpass their expectations? So how I like to say this is, in surpass is when you really are going to surprise and delight them. This is when you do the extraordinary that they may not be expecting. Do you have any of those sprinkled in to your transaction? And then sustain the relationship. Of course, this is where we tell them this is when we're going to continue to have a relationship after closing day. And so by doing this exercise with my team, I said, guys, what are ways that we could surprise and delight people? And so one thing we came up with is we do these welcome home signs in the front yard. So as our clients, or the buyer clients obviously, are off at closing, and then they come back to the new house, they're excited. and we have these welcome home signs in the front yard. I think you can find them on Amazon, $60 or something for those letters. They're just corrugated signs. And then we just had our local marketing guy make these little house-shaped signs that says sold by the Wolek Group. So how fun is that? You get to have your name in the front yard of a buyer side transaction. Remember, you don't get to do that with them typically. So what a great way to put your name in the front yard. Now you're just going to tell them that, hey, we'll be back in a few days to pick those up, because you don't want them throwing them away, because we've had that happen. You know, and that's just some ways that we like to have fun. We also, you know, started doing these under contract gifts. So when a buyer and a seller go under contract, we would drop off a little bag of some bubbly and a celebration of saying, now you can start packing and congratulations, you're under contract. And then this is the Rockstar program I was telling you about. You know, you just have to have like another tier, another level of where you can throw in a little extra for your rock stars or your VIPs or whatever you want to call them. Years ago, there was a book that came out, well, it still exists, by Liz Johnson. She's a Keller Williams agent in Seattle. And she came up with this book called Perk Your Sphere, P-E-R-K, Perk Your Sphere. And it was great, and I love it, and I loved Liz. And then what I realized was what she did was she created this system, and it was really exactly like page 141 of Millionaire Real Estate Agent. So Gary had already written a whole graphic on how you have an allied resource referral generating program. He tells you how to do it. You have a database, you make it, you have systematic touches, etc. So isn't that fun how everything is really already in that book? And everything to me is just a system. If you do something more than once, then you just turn it into a system. Another thing I'll go back and share with you of how I really implemented video into our business, and this is something that goes along with systems for you guys. Are there conversations inside your transaction that you say over and over again? Do you say, yay, congratulations buyers, you're under contract, here's the next steps, here's what you need to be working on, here's what we're working on behind the scenes, only focus on this, get your stuff to the lender, we're gonna handle setting up this and doing that. I just found that every conversation I was having, I made a video out of it. So now when you guys look at your transaction, you've got your pre-listing video, a pre-listing buyer video, a congratulations you're on the market, a congratulations you're under contract, a congratulations it's almost time for closing, here are things to not forget before closing, and the congratulations you're closed. Now, of course, you're still going to talk to your people. You're not going to focus so much on leveraging your life through business, through video, but isn't it a great additional touch that you could share? So this is just a video that I implemented a long time ago. My face looks so disgusting. That's crazy. But I'll play this for you real quick because this just gives you an idea of what you can do.
Hi, I'm Jenny Wolek with the Wolek Group, Keller Williams Realty Advantage. We are so excited to meet with you and discuss the future sale of your home. Before we meet, go ahead and click on the links below and complete the seller love letter and the VIP questionnaire. This information is very helpful and allows us to best market your property. We are confident that the marketing plan we provide will give you the greatest possibility of selling your home for the highest price in the shortest period of time with the least amount of hassles. Also, go ahead and start working on the residential property condition disclosure. This will save us lots of time when we meet. You will also find links to our listing presentation, our online reviews, and even some free mobile apps to help with your move. We look forward to meeting with you, and we are eager to help you achieve all your real estate goals.
So I want to share that with you guys because that's just one example of using a video. We use a tool called BombBomb, and BombBomb, we have it at like the lowest level that you can pay for BombBomb. It's like $29 a month or something. But why we use it is really for these one-off emails that just go out to each client. It's part of the checklist in the system of the admin, or for you if you're an agent by yourself. It's just I'm going to send this out so they can watch it, they can see it, they can remember, they can start working on the homework, because there is nothing better, especially at a listing appointment, when you send them all this in advance. Because imagine who you're appealing to. You're appealing to the high C's, the detail people who want to go ahead and start looking through all of your presentation, and they want to, so we send them in advance, like our whole marketing book, right? I'm not afraid to send it in advance. I want them to research and do all this in advance. You're giving them your online review link. This just goes to Zillow. We go ahead and share some mobile apps with them as well. But if you get to a listing appointment and they have printed off the disclosure and it's filled out, do you need to do much more talking, right? They're at a yes. So whenever you're adding value on the front end and giving them information, then you're just going to stand out from everyone else, which is so fun, obviously. That is something I wanted to share with you. And then, of course, we do it on the buy side too, so a buyer version. Let's see, what else? Let's just pause there. I've thrown a lot of things your way. I know the whole idea was supposed to be on Facebook groups, and to be quite honest, it is, a group is just a way that you get engagement and you share your value. And for me, you know, my most productive group is the one that I spend the most energy and time on, and that's going to be my real estate agent group. So that's the one you can tell every morning what book I'm reading, what Audible I'm listening to, and then getting conversation and engagement around that stuff. Because as real estate agents, we got to keep our mindset strong. We got to keep pushing forward. We got to get up every day and sometimes start over with our day, because we may not know who we get to help today. And only we get to decide that from the energy that we choose and how we decide to show up. So I had a conversation with my coach recently, and he reminded me that the people that are in my world, and they should be in yours as well, are people with grit and a growth mindset. So if those people, I mean, would you imagine that a grit and growth mindset are very important in our business?
Absolutely.
It's key. And if we don't have those, you can't just go find grit. You gotta work on it. You gotta have perseverance and get back up and get going and get to it. So I hope that all this is helpful. I'd love to answer some questions if you have some detailed things.
There's a
Hey, Jenny.
couple there.
Yeah, I
Go
see
ahead,
some.
Melanie.
What? Well, I was just, can you hear me, Jenny?
Yeah, go.
So I was just wondering, so your rock stars, do you have a Facebook group for those rock stars?
Yes. So we do have a Facebook group for the rock stars. And so what I noticed was, Melanie, is that it wasn't getting tons of engagement. We're still getting so much of our business from our database and from those people. They just weren't chit-chatting inside of there like I wanted. And so, you know, I thought, well, surely they don't want to see real estate stuff. I mean, I'm not going to just have a Facebook group of people who are raving fans that care about us just to post listings. And so that's really been the struggle. So we just alternate as team members of, okay, it's your week to go post something in there, or it's your day to go share something. But we honestly just relaunched it like this week. So I'll be sharing that in my group because we want more people to get engaged. So before, the rules were you had to have shared a referral with us to be a rock star. And now we're changing it that it can really be all past clients. Because in the old days, I thought, well, past client Sally Brown is really nice, but she's never going to refer me, and she's never referred me. She's never even answered my phone when I called to check in. So I was like, why put energy there? But then I changed my mindset to a growth mindset and thought, well, that's just not her behavioral style, and I can still love on her and she'll still feel the love, and that could still help generate more business. So we're now folding in all past clients as well. And we're starting it by launching, we allow them early access to stuff. So for example, we're doing a virtual bingo on August 20th. And so we sent out the email to them first and saying, as a rock star, you get a week's head start on RSVPing. So that's how we give them extra love. Yeah.
So there's a question here from Doug, the Campbell team. How do you apply this to a Facebook groups? Do you have more than one group?
Yeah, so the thing about a Facebook group is exactly like your database. Do you have a system and a plan, and what's your message that you're trying to get across? So to me, what I've learned, because I'm impatient, and I would just, if I had a thought, I would just post it. And then having a marketing person in my world that helps our team, she taught me that you need to post and you need to let it sit. Because most of us are high Ds and we just do this. And I learned the hard way, that's not how you're going to get engagement. So I now spread out my posts. So most likely, the great thing about a group or a Facebook page is that you could schedule something in advance. So like if I have a thought pop in my brain, but I just posted already this morning, I'll go ahead and do it, and I'll schedule it for around lunchtime. Or I'll schedule it for around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. And what she's taught me though is that later in the day, like a 3 and a 4 o'clock, is going to get more engagement for some reason. So do your best to spread them out and get engagement with your conversations as you go through. Melissa's question is,
how do you put the videos together with the graphics?
Okay, so the video with a graphic is not me. So this is where you may need to leverage a professional. So we use Viral Marketing, VYRAL, and they help me with 2 videos a month, all of the editing and the production. That video you guys saw was here with a local videographer, so those are a little fancier. But let me tell you, only in the last 6 months have we had that fancy of videos. All the other videos were my phone, me standing in the house of one of our pretty listings with a team member holding the camera and me saying the same exact words. Hey, it's Jenny with the Wolek Group. We look forward to helping you with the sale of your home. Go ahead and click on all the links below and find out more information. It's the same exact script. You don't have to have fancy. If you want to go on a cheap version route though, Melissa, look into BombBomb at the lowest level, and so it's not a big expense, and they at least look pretty because you have kind of the templated video system for them. So, okay, more questions? Donna says the person I met at open house 5 years ago, they are still tagged as just a generic, basically they're tagged as an unmet. But that unmet category still receives whenever we send out to the whole database of emails. Yeah.
Aaron has an interesting question. It says, have you found, where we go. Have you found any value in smaller neighborhood Facebook pages and or Facebook pages focusing on market activity? Have you found any value with that?
Well, so you guys have the Nextdoor app probably for your own neighborhood and community, and we haven't found that it's worth spending the money on it. I think the people that are having the most engagement on it is when you're just showing up as a neighbor. So you're communicating like a neighbor would. Now, the time though that we did have I have had some great success is that we had these corrugated signs that say kids and pets at play, and we gave them away. And so I posted it on Nextdoor and just had people fill out a Google form if they wanted one. And we got tons of people who wanted one of these signs. So it says the Wolek Group, kids and pets at play, you put them in your yard so people slow down. So that has definitely been a way to get engagement and a way to grow our database. When it comes to the difference between a page versus a group, there is a big difference. The page is a place where it's more of like a billboard. It's more of like you're not
posting,
gonna have,
right?
Yeah, you're not gonna have as much engagement.
Right.
The positive piece of that though is that you could run ads on it. So like if you were trying to sell tickets for something or get more people to see a post publicly, you can boost ads and boost posts. A closed group is going to be small knit group of people who have similar purpose, similar ambition, or some kind of cohesive reason for being in that group together. Yeah. What else? Is that any more questions that I want to?
So one other question I have is, do you, or how much, or do you use command?
So we are partially in command. So we have it pi syncing. So our database is feeding inside of it. And then we are using certain pieces like insights. We have it all built out. We are every home anniversary from our clients.
Right.
We're going in and setting up the neighborhood so that they're getting that snapshot of their neighborhood. And we're adding birthday reminders as well. So it's just a baby step there.
Work in progress.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys, and our time is almost over. Is there anything else that's just a burning desire to share or question?
I think we're good. That was all the questions.
That was me. I actually did raise my hand. You got me?
I'm sorry. Hi, Angie.
Hi. Hi, Jenny. I have a quick question regarding groups. I started one in my neighborhood in 2015, and I'm the admin, which is awesome. It's grown to over 850 people, a lot of it due to COVID, and I'm really grateful for that. It's pretty active. There's a pretty good culture going on. We've been able to create the culture piece, and I've been able to interact as an agent, but also as like a neighbor, right? And I'm still trying to find the magic piece. I feel like I'm acting as an agent enough, but not being annoying. And yet I'm not sure, aside from just people that live here that have referred me to other people that I did at one time have direct face-to-face contact, I'm not sure if I'm actually getting direct have-not-mets to interact with me.
Yeah.
Especially it asked me to be their realtor or,
Yeah.
you know, be my friend.
Yeah. So, I mean, my first thoughts would be just make sure that your Facebook profile page is very clear what you do and who you are. And so it really shows up that you're a real estate professional. And are you friending all of them outside of the group?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
yeah.
that would be where I would take it, you know, the offline, take it offline from online, and have you added them to your campaigns and your systems as a real estate agent.
Okay. So maybe get a little more into asking them for that.
Yeah. I've got a fun Facebook exercise that I use for new agents on my team, where you send a message and you say, hey, it's Jenny, and I've been bad about staying in touch and sharing, you know, things in real estate or whatever. Periodically we send out some good stuff. Are you interested, or can I have your address? And so it's just a great script, not as pushy as I just made it sound, but just taking that relationship offline. I know it's hard when you're in that because you don't want to show up as the real estate pushy person, but you do need to find a way to engage. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Good job. All right, guys. One other thing I do have that I forgot to even mention is it's not a group, but it is a page, and it's called Tulsa Looks Good on You. And I created this page a year ago, and then with COVID, Angie just reminded me, I had already been interviewing local businesses and in person. And so as soon as this hit, I just switched it to doing interviews with these business owners by Zoom. And so we're just sitting side by side on gallery view, just like we are here on Zoom. I say, hey, would you, I love promoting and sharing and giving back to the community. I'd love to support your business. Would you have 3 to 5 minutes where I can just interview you on video, and then I'll share it with this on Facebook. I'll share it on all our social sites, and then I'll share it with our database and our network. Are you up for that? And so I had like 50 business owners and nonprofit people that were up for doing a video. So now I get to be that person who gives back to the community. It gets shared. They share it with their friends. And so that's just another way to get engagement and be the community connector that we are. So hopefully you can put that into your goodness arsenal as well. Thank you guys for having me.
All right. Thank you, Jenny, very much for your time today. You appreciate it. And hopefully, guys, some great nuggets from everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thanks,
Have a good
Jenny.
afternoon.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.